Beloved friend, have you ever found yourself holding on so tightly to plans, to people, to outcomes, that your hands begin to tremble with fear? We live in a world that tells us we must control everything, that if we plan carefully enough, work hard enough, we can make life obey our will. And for a while, it might even seem to work. Until one day, something slips. The plan changes. The certainty fades. The ground beneath us moves. And suddenly, we realize how fragile our grip truly is. That's when worry begins its quiet whisper. What if things don't go my way? What if I lose what I've built? What if I can't fix this? We hold tighter, trying to protect what's already slipping through our fingers. And the tighter we hold, the more peace we lose. But in that moment when our strength runs out, when control fades, God's gentle voice begins to call. Not in thunder, not in demand, but in quiet invitation. Trust me. It's hard, isn't it? To trust when we don't understand, to release the illusion of control and rest in something unseen. Our hearts want guarantees. Our minds want answers. But God offers something deeper. Peace beyond understanding. He doesn't promise to explain every path. He promises to walk with us through it. He doesn't promise that storms won't come. He promises to be the anchor that holds us firm when they do. Maybe you've prayed before saying, "Lord, I trust you," and then found yourself worrying again just hours later. You're not alone. Trusting God isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily surrender, a breath-by-breath choice to let go of fear and to believe that His plan is greater, even when it feels hidden. And perhaps the times when you feel weakest, when your plans fall apart, when everything seems uncertain, those are not moments of loss. They're moments of invitation. Because when life stops making sense, that's where faith truly begins. So tonight, as you listen to these words, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't need to see the full picture. You only need to rest in the one who does. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe deeply. Let your shoulders drop. Let go of the pressure to figure everything out. Right now, you are safe in His hands. The same hands that shape the stars hold your life with tender care. You don't have to fight to control what God already carries perfectly. So, beloved friend, if your heart is tired of worrying, if you're weary of trying to hold it all together, this prayer is for you. Tonight, we will learn to trust Him. Fully, deeply, completely. Let us open our hearts, release our grip, and find peace in the one who never lets go. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3 verse 5. There is a moment, quiet but heavy, when you realize that no matter how much you plan, life refuses to fit into your design. You try to hold everything together, your relationships, your job, your health, your future. But it feels like holding water in your hands. The harder you press, the faster it slips away. And deep inside, that familiar ache begins to grow. The fear of losing control. It doesn't come loudly. It comes like a whisper that hides behind your thoughts. If I let go, everything will fall apart. If I stop worrying, it means I don't care enough. If I stop controlling, no one else will fix it. So you hold on. You plan harder, you try again, you make lists, set goals, predict outcomes, anything to feel safe again. But peace doesn't come through control. It hides when we chase certainty. When we don't trust, worry becomes our master. We wake up with it, we eat with it, we go to bed with it. It whispers in the dark, replaying everything that might go wrong. And soon, our hearts become heavy, not because of what is happening, but because of everything we fear might happen. You might be there now. Maybe you've prayed, but the silence makes you anxious. Maybe you've obeyed, but the outcome still hurts. Maybe you've believed, but things didn't change. And somewhere between your faith and your fear, you began to wonder, can I really trust God with this? Trusting God sounds simple, until you have to do it. Until He asks you to release the very thing you love most. Until He leads you into a season where you can't see what's next. Because trusting God means walking when you can't see the road. It means standing still when your mind screams to run. It means believing that His silence isn't absence, and that His timing isn't delay but protection. We often think that faith is about strength, but sometimes faith is simply not letting fear have the last word. There's a story that lives quietly in the soul of every believer. The story of a person holding on to a rope during a storm. The wind howls, the rain beats down, and their hands bleed as they cling to that rope, terrified to let go. They pray for the storm to stop, but the rope begins to slip anyway. And when their strength fails, they finally let go, only to fall into the open, waiting hands of God. That's what trust feels like. Terrifying before you do it, liberating once you finally let go. But why do we resist so much? Because control gives us the illusion of safety. It makes us believe that if we try hard enough, we can protect ourselves from pain. Yet God doesn't call us to a life free of pain. He calls us to a life full of peace, even in pain. Control says, I need to know the outcome. Trust says, I need to know the one who holds the outcome. Maybe the reason you feel anxious isn't because you don't believe in God, but because you haven't yet believed that He will take care of what you've given Him. So you pray, but you still hold on. You surrender, but you check if it's still safe. You say, Lord, I trust you, but you keep looking for signs that He's working. That's the battle inside. To choose between the comfort of control and the freedom of faith. And every day we stand at that crossroads. Our hands full of worries and His hands open, waiting. Maybe tonight you're tired. Tired of pretending to be fine. Tired of forcing outcomes. Tired of praying but still feeling afraid. If so, hear this truth. God isn't disappointed in your fear. He meets you in it. He doesn't shame you for holding on. He gently asks you to trust. He doesn't demand perfection. He desires surrender, because the place where your strength ends is the place where His begins. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means giving to. Giving your plans to the one who sees beyond your tomorrow. Giving your fears to the one who carries peace in His hands. Giving your story to the author who already wrote the ending. Yes, there will be days when your faith feels small, when your trust wavers, when your hands want to grab control again. But that's okay, because trusting God isn't about never fearing again. It's about choosing Him, even when you're afraid. Tonight, perhaps God is whispering to you, you can rest now. You don't have to control everything anymore. And maybe for the first time you'll believe that those words are not a command, they're an invitation. An invitation to let go and fall into grace. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. There is a moment, quiet and almost invisible, when your soul stops fighting and begins to breathe again. It doesn't come with thunder or sudden revelation. It comes softly, like morning light slipping through curtains after a long night. That's what happens when you finally begin to trust God. The storm may still rage outside, but something changes within. The waves that once felt violent now sound like a lullaby. The darkness that frightened you now becomes a canvas for light. And you realize peace was never about what's happening around you. It's about who is holding you through it. When you begin to trust, you stop asking, why is this happening? And start whispering, Lord, what are you teaching me through this? Your prayers shift from, take this away, to stay with me through it. Because trust isn't built on explanations, it's built on presence. The presence of a God who doesn't always remove the storm, but always remains in the boat. And in that quiet, you start to see what was hidden all along. That God's silence was never absence, that His delay was never denial, that His plan was always protection. For so long we've been taught that faith means strength, to stand tall, to never waver, to smile through pain. But true faith sometimes looks like falling, falling into arms you cannot see, falling with the trust that those arms will not let you break. It's the kind of surrender that feels like loss at first, but slowly reveals itself as freedom. Because when you fall into grace, you fall upward, into love that does not end. Maybe you've been waiting for things to make sense, for the story to resolve, for the answers to appear. But what if the peace you seek isn't waiting at the end of the explanation, but here, right now, in the act of trust? What if peace is not the result of understanding, but the fruit of surrender? Trust doesn't demand proof. It learns to rest in God's goodness before the evidence arrives. And it whispers to the heart, even if I don't know how this ends, I know who holds it. When you begin to live that way, the world no longer controls your peace. Your circumstances stop defining your joy. You start to see life not as something to manage, but as something to walk through with open hands. Hands that used to grasp, now receive. Hearts that used to fear, now rest. Because trust transforms not just your situation, but your soul. Look around you, the sun still rises after the longest night. The sea still calms after the fiercest storm. And your heart, though weary, still beats with hope. That's grace at work. That's trust beginning to bloom. It doesn't mean you'll never feel afraid again. It means fear no longer has the final word. Because every time worry knocks, faith answers. God is still here. There's a kind of beauty in surrender that only the broken can understand. When all your plans have failed and all your strength has faded, you finally see that His plan was never to let you drown, but to teach you how to float. To trust is to float, to stop fighting the current and let His love carry you. You don't have to swim through every problem. Sometimes you just need to rest in the water of His presence. And when you do, you begin to see life differently. You notice that peace was always nearby. You just couldn't hear it over the noise of control. You feel God's whisper in the small things, in the wind that brushes your face, in the sunrise that greets your window, in the silence between breaths. And suddenly, what used to feel like loss now feels like freedom. Because trusting God fully doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you've stopped needing them. It means you found a better answer. Tim. Perhaps that's the secret of peace, not in understanding everything, but in knowing you are understood completely. When you can't see the road, He becomes the light. When you can't control the storm, He becomes your calm. When you don't know the outcome, He becomes your confidence. And slowly, the fear that once filled your heart turns into quiet faith. So breathe now. Don't rush the healing. Don't demand the answers. Just rest in the truth that you are seen, known, and loved by the one who never lets go. He's been guiding you all along, not by giving you control, but by teaching you how to release it. Because real peace isn't found in holding on. It's found in finally saying, Lord, I trust you fully. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Isaiah 26 verse 3. When life feels uncertain, when every plan seems to crumble, and when the road ahead disappears into the fog, that is where the promises of God become your anchor. You may not see the next step, but His word lights the one right before you, and that light is always enough. Let's turn to the scriptures, the voice that never changes, the truth that has held countless hearts through centuries of storms. Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. These words remind us that peace doesn't come from understanding everything. It comes from surrendering everything. Our minds crave logic, our hearts crave certainty, but God asks for something higher: trust. When you don't know what to do next, when your plan fails, when the future feels blurred, you can lean on this promise. He will make your path straight. Even if it's not the path you expected. Because faith isn't about seeing the full road. It's about walking one step at a time with the one who leads it. Psalm 37:5. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act. To commit means to hand something over completely. Not partly, not temporarily, but fully. To say, Lord, this is yours now. And then to rest, not in the outcome, but in the assurance that He is working. You may not see His hand moving, but behind the silence He is aligning things you cannot yet perceive. The same God who painted galaxies is more than capable of arranging your life with precision and love. Isaiah 26:3. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. What a promise this is. Perfect peace. Not half peace, not fleeting calm, but perfect, unwavering peace, rooted in trust. Our minds wander, our emotions rise and fall, but trust steadies the heart. When you fix your gaze on God, the storm may still swirl around you, yet your soul remains still. That's the peace the world cannot give and cannot take away. Psalm 56:3. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. Simple, honest, human. It doesn't say if I am afraid, it says when, because faith isn't the absence of fear, it's the courage to choose trust in the middle of it. God doesn't expect perfection. He meets you where you tremble. He whispers peace where fear once shouted. Each of these verses carries the same message. You don't have to understand to trust. You don't have to see to believe. You don't have to control to be at peace. God is faithful, even when you cannot feel it. His promises are alive, even when everything else feels silent. And when your strength fails, His remains. When your vision blurs, His plan is still clear. When your hands let go, His never will. So tonight, let these verses settle in your heart. Let them become more than words. Let them become breath. When you wake tomorrow and worry whispers again, speak these promises out loud. When doubt tries to rise, remind your soul, my God has never failed me. Because the foundation of peace is not in having control, it's in having confidence in the one who does. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in Him. Jeremiah 17:7. Heavenly Father, I come before you tonight with a heart that's tired. Not because I have stopped believing, but because I've been trying to hold on for too long. I confess, Lord, that there are moments when my faith feels fragile. Moments when I say I trust you, but deep down, I'm still afraid of what might happen next. You know that part of me, the one that wants to control, to fix, to understand everything. The part that clings to plans, even when you ask me to let go. But here I am, Father, hands trembling, heart open, ready to surrender once more. Because I'm learning that trust is not something I can master. It's something you grow within me, one breath, one day, one prayer at a time. Lord, you see the things I try to carry alone, the decisions that keep me awake, the fears I never speak aloud, the moments I pretend to be fine but my soul is shaking. You see the doubts I hide behind smiles. You see the tears I hide behind prayer. And yet, you never turn away. You don't rush my healing. You don't demand perfection. You simply whisper, give it to me. So tonight, Lord, I give it to you. All of it. Every burden, every worry, every hidden fear. I give you the things I can't fix, the people I can't change, the past I can't rewrite, the future I can't predict. I give you the moments that didn't go as planned, the dreams that died quietly, and the expectations that left me disappointed. Because I know now that I can't carry both my plans and your peace at the same time. So I choose peace. I choose you. Father, teach me how to rest in your timing. I confess that waiting makes me restless, but I also know that your timing is never wrong. Help me see that every delay is protection, every closed door is mercy, every unanswered prayer is an invitation to deeper faith. When I try to force things into place, remind me that what is mine will come in your time. Not through my striving, but through your grace. Lord, I want to trust you not just with the easy things, but with the painful ones too. The ones that scare me, the ones I don't understand. When I can't see the way forward, be my light. When I feel lost in uncertainty, be my guide. When my heart grows anxious, be my calm. And when I start to take back what I've already given to you, remind me gently that your hands are stronger than mine, because you never drop what I place in your care. Father, help me to believe that even the detours are divine, that even the pain has purpose, that even in silence, you are speaking. Help me to stop asking why and start saying, "What now, Lord?" Not "Why did this happen?" but "What are you teaching me through it?" Because every trial carries a seed of transformation, and every loss carries the whisper of something eternal. You are not the author of my fear, you are the finisher of my faith, and you are not done with me yet. Lord, teach me to trust you when the path is hidden. Teach me to trust you when prayers seem unanswered. Teach me to trust you when everything around me changes. Because you alone remain the same. You were faithful yesterday, you are faithful now, and you will be faithful tomorrow. When I am weak, you are strong. When I am unsure, you are steady. When I let go, you still hold on. So I surrender, Lord, not because I've lost hope, but because I've finally found peace in your will. God, I release the need to have control. I release the fear of the unknown. I release the pressure to understand everything. And I release the doubt that keeps me from fully trusting you, because you are God and I am yours. You know what I don't. You see what I can't. And you love me too much to let me settle for less than your best. Help me to remember this when life feels unsteady. Help me to see your fingerprints on the things that confuse me. Help me to say, "It is well," even when I don't feel it yet. Lord, if I must walk through uncertainty, let me walk with peace. If I must wait, let me wait with faith. If I must lose something, let it only be my fear, because I would rather walk through the unknown with you than run ahead without you. I would rather stand still in your will than chase a plan that isn't yours. You are my stability in chaos. You are my calm in the confusion. You are my home in every storm. And Father, I lift up those who are listening with me right now, those who are struggling to trust you, those who are weary from waiting, those who are afraid of what comes next. Wrap them in your peace. Let your love quiet their fears. Let your spirit whisper into their hearts. You don't have to understand, you only have to trust. Remind them that faith isn't about never feeling afraid. It's about believing that you're greater than fear itself. Bless them with rest tonight, Lord. Let their sleep be deep and undisturbed. Let their dreams be filled with assurance that they are safe, seen, and loved. And when the morning comes, wake us gently with your presence. Let peace be the first thing we feel, and gratitude the first thing we speak. Teach us to start each day not with worry, but with worship. Not with fear, but with faith. Because a heart that trusts you can never be shaken for long. Lord, help me to live this prayer, not just tonight, but tomorrow and every day after. To walk by faith, not by sight. To love without fear. To wait without anxiety. To surrender without regret. And when I forget, as I sometimes will, call me back to this place of peace. Back to your arms, where trust isn't forced, it flows. Where surrender isn't weakness, it's strength. Where letting go isn't loss, it's freedom. Because in your hands, nothing is wasted, nothing is lost, and nothing is ever out of control. So here I am, Lord. My plans, my worries, my doubts, all yours. I trust you, fully, completely. Even when I don't understand, even when it hurts, even when the outcome is unseen, because I know you are faithful, you are good, and you never fail those who trust in you. Even when I cannot see your hand, Lord, I will trust your heart. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. Jeremiah 17 verse 7. Take a deep breath, beloved friend. Let the stillness linger for a while. You don't need to rush out of this peace. It's meant to stay with you. You've laid your worries down tonight. You've loosened your grip. And now, in the quiet after surrender, there's something sacred, a calm that feels like being held. That's what trust feels like. Not an effort, not a struggle, just rest. It's the peace that comes when your soul finally says, God, I may not know what comes next, but I know you'll be there. Maybe nothing around you has changed yet. The same challenges, the same unknowns, they might still be waiting tomorrow, but you have changed. Because tonight, you remembered who is in control. And once you truly remember that, fear begins to fade. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to see every step ahead. You just need to walk in faith, one quiet, steady step at a time. Trust is not the absence of uncertainty. It's the presence of peace in the midst of it. It's waking up tomorrow with open hands, saying, Lord, guide me. Whatever happens, I'll rest in you. It's knowing that you're not abandoned in your waiting, you're being shaped in it. And the God who has carried you this far will not stop now. So even when you face days that feel heavy again, when your heart begins to question, when old fears return, come back to this stillness, come back to this moment, come back to Him. Because peace isn't something you lose, it's something you return to. Maybe tonight, for the first time in a long while, you can breathe without fear. You can sleep knowing that the world will keep turning, not because you hold it, but because God does. And that's the secret of real trust. Letting go and realizing you were never alone in the first place. He's been guiding you through every unseen turn, catching every tear, turning every setback into preparation. Nothing you've surrendered is lost. It's simply placed in safer hands. So as this prayer comes to a close, may you leave not with answers, but with assurance. Assurance that God's plans are always better. Assurance that His love never shifts with circumstance. Assurance that your future is already resting in His care. Let your mind be still now. Let your heart be light. You've given Him everything, and that's where peace begins. And before we go, receive this blessing. Let it settle deep in your spirit. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you and bring you peace. May your heart trust His ways and your soul rest in His will. Now and always, you are safe in His hands. As the music fades, take one last deep breath, a breath of surrender, a breath of peace. Carry this calm into tomorrow. Walk slowly, trust fully, and remember, you are never alone in your journey. God is with you, always. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Psalm 37:7.